Tabaco, 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 tabaco. Melao, 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 melao. Me contó mi abuela que en tiempos de antaños había un remedio muy bueno y popular. Hojas de tabaco mezclada con melao para curar los males del envidia.
What makes a good cigar?
God, that's a hard.
That's right. I'm not a tobacco expert.
You know, but I'll say one thing. I'm not sure what the ingredients of a cigar that make it good, but I think the environment you smoke it in is important. I think
just tobacco.
Yeah, it's
basically a good cigar is good tobacco. Right? What makes good tobacco?
It's expertly rolled.
Yeah. The manufacture of it is extremely important.
Right.
They have to be handmade, and they have to be. I mean,
And the wrapper is also very important. Most of the flavor comes from the wrapper.
Burn. Yeah, I mean, a cheap cigar, burns like a cigarette. It's awful.
Well, a cheap cigar they dip in like a sugar water. They dip the leaves in a sugar water.
I have to
Tobacco, when it's cured, see, tobacco has a very long curing process and an aging process. And when it's cured, there are ingredients in the tobacco that turn to sugar. It's the starches in the leaf, I don't know what it is, but it turns to a sugar content that's natural. So there's a sweetness, although it may smell pungent to you, there is a sweetness, an underlying sweetness to the tobacco that's natural. What they do with cheap cigars is they use a lot of cardboard filler and they dip it in sugar water. Yeah.
That's right.
To try and achieve what should happen naturally, and you cannot force something like that.
Why do English professors smoke pipes and cigars? Well, mostly pipes.
Writers also smoke pipes. Part of smoking a
That's
pipe.
a classic photograph.
Part
of
smoke. There's a thing about smoking a pipe. I'd say it appeals to every one of your senses, and it allows you to focus your mind. All of the, I love, one of the things I love about smoking is all of the toys and all of the things, like I smoke a cigar and I've got my little clipper, and I've got my lighters.
There's cognac. Look at that fine cognac we have on the table.
See, we haven't talked about that, but that blends perfectly with. Why is that? Why is cognac and cigars go together?
Yeah. Or the espresso, for that matter.
Is it just the taste are complementary?
I'm sure they are.
They are.
Yeah. Cognac is wonderful.
But again, it's part of the mystique. I think it's part of the mystique.
So is Armagnac, sherry. A fine sherry is also really good with a cigar.
Yeah.
Even a fine glass of wine.
Oh, sure. It depends. Cognac, I don't know. The idea that it's a wonderful image of a fine cigar, a glass of cognac, relaxing.
Calvados.
It's just something to look forward to,
Yes, it is.
I mean, this is like my setup for the Academy Awards or something, where I'm going to sit there for 3 hours and I'm going to endure this thing. So I want all the things to give me pleasure. That would be the ideal.
There are a lot of friends of mine who are other actors who we become immediate friends just over the cigar or a pipe. I'll see them pull out a cigar and I'll say, "Oh, thank God, another cigar smoker." And we immediately have something we can enjoy together, because a cigar is really most enjoyable when you can enjoy it with company. When you can, it's like any of the great pleasures in life. They are the greatest when they are shared with others. To sit in a room by yourself and smoke a cigar is enjoyable, not nearly as enjoyable as sitting with you gentlemen and sharing it with you. It's something that brings people together.
Well, then there's that famous quote by Mark Twain. Smoking's the easiest thing in the world to give up. I've done it at least 1,000 times.
Every day.
So I smoked this too far.
Yeah,
I'm
down here.
The other thing you do with a cigar is you never stamp it out. You allow it to go out of its own volition.
Well, so tell me, where's the point that I should have quit here?
Well, the point when you stopped enjoying it is the point you should have quit. I shouldn't tell you. Well, then you should still smoke it.
I will. I mean,
but a cigar does get pungent as you progress.
It's getting more.
Zeno always says the best puff off the cigar is the first one, and then it gradually gets more pungent. But
no, the second one, because the first puff, you're getting the fire.
Not after you light it.
How many cigars can you smoke a day and still enjoy them?
I don't know. We're sitting here in Nazareth. Let's find out.
Nazareth, what do you think? How many?
We've been smoking these an hour.
Well, you can smoke up to 5 to 10, as much as you feel like.
Well,
There's no
yes.
limit for pleasure.
No, naturally,
That's for sure.
A year's supply of cigars is approximately 1,000.
I think they found that most cigar smokers smoke one a day. Most cigar smokers.
Right.
I think
One a day.
That's
one
all?
cigar a day. Yeah, that's all. Most cigar smokers.
But the most of the connoisseurs, I think they go like 3 and 5.
Right.
maximum.
The people who really smoke the finer cigars, who really are cigar connoisseurs,
Connoisseur,
would say about
exactly.
3 a day. Yeah.
About
Well,
3 a day
my
to
favorites
5,
are the first one
depends.
in the
Five?
morning
Yeah.
and after a meal.
Oh, you have what, the first
Yeah.
one in the morning?
Oh yeah.
Really?
First cigar of the day and after dinner are my favorites.
So you'd wake up and have one? Or do you wait
Well,
a
after
little
I
bit?
have breakfast.
Oh, you get
Yeah.
coffee too. Coffee.
Not before the coffee.
Milton Berle was telling me that the right way to smoke a cigar is to take it and put it in the middle of your lips like this. Take small puffs.
Uh-huh. Small
It's not the way I smoke them, but
Yeah.
that's what he thinks is the right way.
Well, Zeno says you're not supposed to take a puff off a cigar any more than one every 60 seconds.
Oh, 1 minute. That's
1 minute.
basically. But then again, you go back and you look. I'm a fast smoker. I will probably smoke 2 to 3 cigars to Nazareth one, because I'm a very fast smoker.
Yes, Nazareth is on the same cigar.
Yeah, Naz is a very slow smoker.
But we've been smoking for an hour.
Pardon me?
We've been smoking for an hour.
Well, I noticed
One
you
cigar.
probably have. Now, your cigar, when I came in, you guys had probably been here for a while. And I've been smoking and listening, and I'm not finished, but I look at Nazareth's cigar, and I will probably finish this cigar before he finishes his.
So how many would you smoke a day, would you say?
Me? I've smoked from 1 a day, I've smoked to 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. It depends. There's so much inconsistency in cigars nowadays, all of them, from Cuban to the domestic cigars, until when I find a cigar that I enjoy, if I find a box that I enjoy, I will probably go through that box real fast. But the key to all cigars nowadays, the whole key to all cigars nowadays, domestic, Cuban, or whatever, is the aging process of the cigars. You can take these cigars, all these cigars in this showcase here.
Once they're made, you're speaking about not just beyond the aging of the tobacco.
No, I'm not. I'm
The
speaking
aging of the cigar.
The aging of the cigar.
Absolutely.
That is the most
So you-
important
And
thing.
you have to unwrap the cigar in order to age it.
Exactly. Exactly. It has to be unsellowed.
That's right.
And
And then kept in a humidor.
you get the Hondurans and everybody else that are making cigars. They're making cigars for one thing, the bottom line, money. And they want to push out as many as they can to make the turnover. Where I know for a fact, the Cubans will not ship you a cigar if they think it's bad. I've got pictures of how the factory works. I have a friend that goes to Cuba 5-6 times a year. And he tells me what they do, how they do it, and the way it's done. I like a particular cigar that comes from Cuba that he brings me. I get this cigar, and the first time that I've ever known them to have ship cigars without the box. They will not ship you a cigar. You cannot get a cigar out of Cuba unless they have the proper packaging for it. And you see, you look at that pride. That's tradition. That's pride. Whereas you go and you look at these people that are making cigars like Mexico. And believe it or not, at one time Mexico made one of the finest cigars there were. They did. A cigar by the name of Tabamex. That was one of the finest cigars that was made. But then what happened was, after they made the cigar, got the quality where it should have been, start making money on it, they just dropped it off.
Oh, because the demand was
Well, the demand
people discovered what a great cigar it was, and they got orders, and you cannot make a great cigar like that in massive quantities.
Habano puro, ahora te dicen tabaco fino de gran hotel, porque en La Habana nadie te fuma, pues tú vales más que un chale. Y dice habano puro, reclama lo tuyo y dile al que a ti te vende que tú eres de Belén, que no te mande pa'l norte porque tú no hablas inglés. Belén, 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 va. Ay.
This is my son right here. This is George. He's 2 years old, and he got his taste of his first Cuban cigar.
He's got good taste in cigars.
Very good taste.
Just like Dad.
Very good taste.
Don't some people look at that picture and say, "Oh, that's awful"?
Nobody's never said that to me. I mean, it's always, I have a picture of him at work on the desk with him and his sister, and he has a cigar in his mouth.
Yeah, that's right.
It's great.
That's right.
Well, they're enjoyable, aren't they?
Cigars are very enjoyable to me. You see, they didn't cover for you the philosophy of smoking cigars. You see, cigars and cigarettes, there's two different philosophies. You smoke cigarettes, you ingest the nicotine into your lungs to enjoy. That's where your pleasure comes. Cigars you smoke for two reasons. You smoke for taste and smell, and that's all. Generally, cigar smokers don't inhale. There are only two cigar smokers that I've known to inhale in their lifetime. I have a friend who smokes cigars who lives in Canada, and Fidel Castro, who I don't know personally, but I've seen him smoke in pictures and on TV and stuff like that, and he genuinely inhales cigars.
Really?
But he doesn't smoke anymore, supposedly. But
that takes a strong constitution to inhale.
Very strong constitution to inhale a cigar. Believe me, it does. It does.
Well, thanks.
It does.
Do you enjoy them, sir?
Do I enjoy them?
You must enjoy cigars, otherwise
I
you
want to
wouldn't
tell
do
you that I would prefer to restrict my patronage of restaurants in the city to restaurants that allow me to smoke cigars. So actually, there's only one restaurant that I go to, which is Musso and Frank's on Hollywood Boulevard. But cigars are good for you. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my father used to smoke cigars in every fine restaurant in New York.
That's right.
And now
they're trying to outlaw them. They're trying to make a new prohibition.
Well,
listen, when cigars are outlawed, remember only outlaws will have cigars. and with that, I'll see you later. I'm going to follow some of the women out here. I'll see you guys later.
Have a good one.
Nice day.
We're going to go have lunch.
You have to be an outlaw to get a Cuban cigar.
You have to be an outlaw to get a cigar.
There are a lot of outlaws.
There are a lot. Well,
A lot of them are U.S. senators.
thank you very much. But you see, they can receive theirs in diplomatic pouches.
That's right, they do. Believe me, they do.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
I bet you they get them all the time.
Those are the same ones that vote to, to keep the ban going.
Well, look what happened. You want to speak of double-sided. When John Kennedy, as President of the United States, decided that he was going to sign the embargo against Cuba, the trade embargo, and Cuban cigars were going to be illegal, he sent his press secretary, Pierre Salinger, out to find. John Kennedy used to smoke Upman Petites.
That's right, yeah.
He sent Pierre Salinger out to find every Upman Petite that he could find. Pierre Salinger found 10,000 Upman Petites. Once he found out that he had 10,000 Upman Petites, he signed the embargo. Of course. I've only seen him smoke in public once.
Who's that?
John Kennedy. I was at an Army-Navy game.
And it wasn't lately.
No, it wasn't lately. This was... And what he would do was, if he knew he was going to be filmed or anything, he would take that cigar and put it out in his pocket, in his suit pocket. And that's why he always had holes in his pocket. Always had holes in his pocket from putting the cigars out. But you find most cigars, I'll walk and smoke, but then even that's offensive to some people.
Right, they look at you and they go, oh my God.
Well, no, when I'm smoking my cigars, I don't like comments about this and about that.
That's right.
I don't.
You don't need it.
I don't need comments about, and I'm very sensitive about that.
So am I. But I go out of my way, if someone's smoking a pipe or someone's smoking a cigar, I usually go out of my way to say, gee, that smells awfully nice. And you'd be surprised the look on someone's face when you tell them that, because they're so used to getting the opposite.
What do you say about the guy who smokes a cigar with a plastic tip? I mean, if you can call that a cigar.
That's garbage.
No,
that's like a sin.
That's a travesty. That's garbage. That's a travesty.
Well, you know, George Burns uses a cigar holder.
Yeah,
he always smokes a cigar in a cigar holder, and that's it's a nice holder, and but actually George Burns smokes cheap cigars.
Very cheap cigars.
Yeah, he gave me one once. It
Very
was a real cheap cigar.
Toss it out. Do yourself a favor. Toss it.
Or White Owl.
White Owl.
Yeah, he'll smoke a White Owl, and basically what you're smoking homogenized tobacco.
Well, you're smoking cardboard, I think.
Well, I started smoking cigars on those bubblegum cigars.
Bubblegum cigars. I like that.
That's how I start.
Yeah, but
Is that how you start?
That's how I started too. People used to laugh when I used to clip them.
But I tell you, speaking of cheap cigars, you take.
You used to clip the bubblegum cigar.
Clip a bubblegum cigar just to get the. I tell you, I like the toys. That's what I like about it.
speaking of cheap cigars, you take a King Edward, and that cigar, do you know that that cigar can finance your trip to London?
Oh, I know it. You're right. You're absolutely right. Bring King Edwards
Bring King Edwards into London. They are very, very expensive.
Why?
Because of the name associated with royalty.
That's the only reason.
Well, I tell you, I never knew that story until years ago. I was in making change to catch the cable car in San Francisco, and this guy was in there with an English accent, and I mean, he was just buying boxes and boxes of them. And I asked him, I said, well, sir, where are you from? He says, well, I'm from London. And I says, well, why are you buying this garbage cigar, and you can go to London and smoke the best cigars there is? He said, yeah, but he says, you know, he says, I can buy them here for 50, for about 20 bucks, and he says, I can take there and quadruple my money. So he explained to me that the cigar was worth a lot of money in London because it's associated with royalty. And he said, that cigar is going to pay for most of his trip.
That's amazing.
We should start manufacturing Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, hey, yeah.
Well, I saw a great cartoon. It was a vending machine. I think it was Ziggy. You know the cartoon Ziggy? And the vending machine said, it had a sign that says, a good 5-cent cigar, $3.
That's great.
Tabaco, 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 tabaco. Melao, 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 melao. Fue usada por doctores, licenciados y abogados, santeros y paleros, vendedores de mercado. Superó a la medicina, a los productos exportados, acabó con la malicia, la tristeza y el pecado. ¡Qué tradición! Tabaco con melao. Tabaco con melao, ay, sabroseao. Tabaco con melao, ay, apapichao. Tabaco con melao, ay, ya sabroseao. Tabaco con melao, es la tradición. Tabaco con melao.
Vivo solo sin ti, sin poderte olvidar un momento no más. Vivo pobre de amor, a la espera de quien no me da una ilusión. Miro el tiempo pasar, el invierno llegar, todo menos a ti. Si otro amor me viniera a llamar, no lo quiero ni oír. Otra noche esperé, otra noche sentí, aumentó mi dolor. De cigarro en cigarro, cenizas y humo en mi corazón. Vivo solo sin ti,